There was a time when going to a video store felt like a small adventure. Families walked into bright stores filled with movies, shelves were packed, and new releases were right at the front. People took their time, walking around and choosing what to watch. At the center of it all was one name, Blockbuster. In the 1990s, it was not just a company, it was part of everyday life. With more than 9,000 stores, it looked too big to ever fail. It felt unstoppable. But then, everything changed. Stores started closing, customers disappeared, and in 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. So what really happened? Did Netflix destroy it, or did Blockbuster make its own mistakes? Stay with us to find out. And if you enjoy stories like this, like the video and subscribe to Collapse Files, The Rise of Blockbuster. Blockbuster was founded in 1985. At that time, renting movies was already popular, but the experience was often messy. Small stores had limited choices, and many were not well organized. Blockbuster changed this completely. It created large, clean, and well-managed stores where people could easily find what they wanted. The company also used data to track which movies were popular so it could keep those titles in stock. This made renting simple and reliable. Because of this, the company grew very fast. At one point, it was opening a new store about every 17 hours. That shows how quickly it expanded. By the early 2000s, Blockbuster became the leader in home entertainment. Millions of people depend on it every week. But even during this success, small problems were starting to appear, and they would matter later. The business model that made and hurt Blockbuster. Blockbuster made money in a very simple way. Customers rented movies, watched them at home, and then returned them. But if they returned a movie late, they had to pay an extra fee. These late fees were not small. By the year 2000, Blockbuster was making around $800 million every year just from these charges. That was a huge part of its income. But here was the problem: customers did not like it at all. Many people felt frustrated and even angry when they had to pay extra money just for being a little late. It made the whole experience stressful instead of enjoyable. This created a strange situation. Blockbuster was earning a lot of money from something its customers hated. And over time, this became one of its biggest weaknesses, opening the door for better ideas. The arrival of Netflix. In 1997, a new company was created called Netflix. At the beginning, it was not a big company. It was just a small startup with a simple but smart idea. Instead of going to a store, people could order DVDs online and get them delivered to their homes by mail. This alone made things easier. But the biggest change was something else: Netflix removed late fees completely. Customers could keep movies as long as they wanted. There was no pressure to return them quickly. They only had to pay a fixed monthly fee. This solved one of the biggest problems people had with Blockbuster. No late fees meant no stress. At first, this idea did not look dangerous. Blockbuster was still huge and powerful. Or at least, that's what they believed. The $50 million mistake. In the year 2000, something very important happened. Netflix approached Blockbuster with an offer. Netflix wanted to sell itself for about $50 million. The idea was simple. Netflix would become Blockbuster's online business, helping it move into the future. But Blockbuster refused the offer. Reports later said that its leaders did not take the idea seriously and decided to reject it. At that time, Blockbuster was much bigger and more powerful. Netflix was still small and not making profits. From Blockbuster's point of view, saying no did not seem risky. But this decision later became one of the most talked about mistakes in business history. Because Netflix did not disappear. It continued to grow, improve, and move forward, slowly becoming a major competitor. Ignoring the warning signs, as Netflix started to grow, something important was changing at the same time: customer behavior. People were beginning to choose convenience over everything else. They didn't want to drive to a store anymore. They didn't want to worry about return dates or late fees. They just wanted something simple and easy. Netflix was giving them exactly that. But Blockbuster did not react fast enough. The company had data and could see what customers were doing. The signs were there. Still, it did not fully accept that the market was changing. Instead, it continued to depend on its old business model. This is a common mistake. Sometimes companies see change coming, but they believe it will not affect them. And by the time they realize the truth, it is often too late. When Blockbuster finally reacted. To be fair, Blockbuster did not ignore the change completely. In 2004, it launched its own online service to compete with new digital trends. It even introduced a system where customers could order movies online and return them in physical stores. This service was called Total Access. For a short time, it actually worked. Blockbuster gained millions of subscribers and the business looked strong again. Even Netflix started to feel real pressure during this period. At one point, Netflix even lost some subscribers while Blockbuster was growing. For a moment, it looked like Blockbuster might win the race after all. The old giant seemed to be fighting back successfully. But behind the progress, deeper problems were still there. And soon, those hidden issues would start to change everything again. The internal conflict that changed everything. Here's where the real problem started for Blockbuster. The company was now running two different businesses at the same time. One was the old system of physical stores where people rented movies. The other was the new online service, built to compete with changing customer habits. But these two models did not work well together. The online system removed late fees, which made life easier for customers. But late fees were one of Blockbuster's biggest sources of profit in the store business. So a clear conflict appeared. If the online business grew, the store business would lose money. This created a difficult question inside the company. Should they protect the old system that made money today, or should they invest fully in the future that might replace it? Instead of fully choosing one direction, Blockbuster tried to support both. And this split focus ended up hurting the company badly. The debt problem. Another big issue for Blockbuster was money. The company was carrying about $1 billion in debt, which made every decision harder. At the same time, building a strong online service needed a lot of investment. But Blockbuster was already under financial pressure. There was another problem too. Removing late fees meant losing one of its biggest sources of income. So either way, the company was losing money. This left Blockbuster stuck. It knew it had to change, but change cost a lot. Because of this, it could not move quickly enough to keep up with the market. The fear of losing short-term profits. One of the biggest reasons Blockbuster failed was simple. It focused too much on short-term profits. Late fees were bringing in money right now. Physical stores were also making steady income right now. So everything looked fine on the surface, but the future was changing quickly. Online services were growing, and streaming was starting to become the new normal. Instead of fully investing in this future, Blockbuster slowed down its online growth. It was afraid that changing too fast would hurt its current profits. This is a common mistake in business. Companies often hold on to what works today, even when it is slowly becoming less useful for tomorrow. The technology shift that changed everything. At the same time, technology was changing fast. Blockbuster had already seen DVDs replace VH tapes, and the internet was getting faster every year. Then came streaming. Streaming changed everything. People no longer needed physical DVDs or stores. They could watch movies instantly from home with just an internet connection. Netflix saw this shift early and started moving in that direction. It focused on streaming while the future was still forming. But Blockbuster moved slowly again. It was still heavily tied to its physical stores, which were now expensive to run and maintain. What was once its biggest strength, its huge network of stores, slowly became its biggest weakness in a digital world. The beginning of the end. By the late 2000s, the situation was clear. Netflix was growing fast, and streaming was becoming very popular. Customers were leaving Blockbuster, stores were closing, and revenue was dropping. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. It marked the end of an era, going from over 9,000 stores to almost none. Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster. Many people think Netflix destroyed Blockbuster, but that is not fully true. Netflix was only the trigger. The real reason Blockbuster failed was its own choices. It ignored change, protected old systems, reacted too late, and never fully committed to the future. In the end, Blockbuster didn't get killed, it slowly killed itself. The lessons from Blockbuster's fall. This story is not only about Blockbuster, it is a lesson for every business. First, success can make companies blind. When things are going well, they often stop questioning themselves. Second, customers matter more than short-term profit. Blockbuster earned money from late fees, but customers hated them. This pushed people toward Netflix. Third, change is not optional. Technology always moves forward. If a company does not adapt, it gets left behind. Fourth, timing is everything. Blockbuster had chances to act, but it moved too slowly. Finally, fear can destroy a company. Blockbuster was afraid of losing what it already had. Because of that fear, it failed to fully change, and in the end, it lost everything. The final thought. Today, the story of Blockbuster feels almost hard to believe. How can a company that big just disappear? How does a brand with thousands of stores lose everything? The answer is simple. Being big does not mean you will survive. Having power does not mean you will always win. The only thing that truly matters is the ability to change. Blockbuster had everything: money, stores, loyal customers, and a strong name. But it failed to fully adapt when the world started changing. And that one mistake changed its future forever. So the real question is, could this happen to other big companies today? And are we seeing the same warning signs again? If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Collapse Files for more real stories like this.